Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully you guys can see us. Hi, Instagram. Hi, Facebook. It's 12 noon. How's everybody doing? Is that going on? Good. Well, welcome, Alex.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, and we just want to welcome everybody to the live conversation of I Choose Me with my dear former player, Miss Alex LaPlante. And I hope you guys can see me. We are live on Facebook. Hey, y'all.
Hey, Facebook.
How's it going? And then we're live on Instagram. How's it going? Hey there. How's everybody doing? And I thank you again for joining me, Alex. I really appreciate you being here. And I'm so thankful that you guys get an opportunity to hang with us for a little bit. As I mentioned earlier, Alex is one of my former players, and I'm super glad to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining me. And that's kind of what I want to do in the future too, is as we're talking about the I Choose Me message, is to get people from different backgrounds and different things that they've done in the past that other people can relate to. And I call myself just ordinary people, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a celebrity or whatever, but just ordinary people, because those are the people that we relate to the most, right?
Yeah.
Who have messages and things that they've gone through that will help other people as well, because you know, we're in this journey together. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
And then so I know that a lot of you all may be preparing for Halloween parties. Are you doing anything for Halloween today?
Handing out candy.
Oh, y'all are the candy hanger outers?
Yeah.
Okay. And then last night, Gary and I, we were at this store to pick up another piece for our costume. And the line was around the corner, and the shelves were completely empty. Well, not completely.
Yeah.
But I was so scared to stand in that line, knowing that they probably didn't have our, you know, what we were looking for. And then when we got in, the line was wrapped around the store to pay. I was like, Lord,
my
please don't have what we're looking for. Because I didn't want to stand in that line.
Yeah.
And so, but for the first time in history, Gary and I are dressing up together for Halloween.
The first time?
For the first time in
That's
history.
crazy.
Yeah, because we are invited to a party tonight.
Aw.
And so I had to call the lady and say, you know, so people are dressing up, right? Because I don't want to show up to your party and we're all dressed up in a costume, and then people are not dressed up as well. But I can't believe he, you know, said yes to it, and so that's real
sweet.
cool. And then Zachary and Tabitha, they're tripping about it, right? Because they're reminding us that they never got a chance to dress up for Halloween, and they and then go trick or treating or anything like that. Did you do that? Did you dress up? And so they're like, "Oh, Mama, you never let us go trick or treating or dress up." They had to go to Hallelujah night,
And Harvest Night.
Harvest night, and the festivals and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And I said, "Well, look how well y'all turned out.
Yeah.
Y'all are okay. Y'all didn't have to dress like, you know, witches and whatnot or whatever." And then one time they dressed up like angels. So I'm like, that's all y'all get.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's acceptable.
I know. And Gary, he loves Halloween. He and the guys last year was so funny. They were in the driveway waiting for kids to come around. You know, we live in the cul-de-sac, and all the guys got together, and they were waiting for the kids to come around, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, somebody's here!" And to see them run in and get their candy,
Yeah.
to hand out the candy, it was so cute to see them do that. It was,
Aw.
So we'll see. As a matter of fact, now that I think about it, I don't think he got any candy yet. I wonder if it's because we're going to the party. I don't
maybe.
know. But anyway, I told Zachary and Tabitha, when you have your children, y'all can dress them up however you want. And trust me, if they come to stay with us, they're going to be pumpkins and all kind of cute things too, because I think it's just a fun thing to do. And today we really want to talk about embracing the I Choose Me message. And I'm really excited to hear about your story, and I'm sure the people that are listening will also be excited to hear about your story, because I know that people can relate to it. And I was talking to this lady the other day, and she was crying about she has these two children. They're like 1 and 2 or 3 or something like that. There's 2 little children, and she was crying about how difficult it was for her being at home, being a stay-at-home mom with the children, and she felt like she was losing herself. She was talking about being super overwhelmed, and I saw her on this path of destruction, and so I gave her a few tips to help her. And then we found out later that she got people that were in her community, some other women that were able to help her as well, and that was really important. And I just want people to understand, as we're going through and talking about the I Choose Me message, that get the help that you need, and know that you're not on this journey by yourself. And as a reminder, thank you so much for embracing the I Choose Me message. But it's not a selfish message. You know, it's a absolutely necessary message. And the I Choose Me message, as you guys have heard me say before, it's about creating a lifestyle of balance for yourself by being by choosing to be emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially, and vocationally healthy first. Why? So that you can be of service to others before it's too late. Right? Because I like the story about my mother. My mother was a beautiful woman that the people absolutely loved her. And when she passed, she wrote in her journals about how she wanted to write children's books and how she wanted to teach etiquette classes. And she couldn't understand why she felt bound, like, you know, like she didn't do it, right? And it bothered her, right? And then I just think about how she didn't put her dream first. So when you're, you know, choosing yourself is also about, you know, choosing your dream and putting it first, right? Why? So that she can be of service to others. And how would she have been of service to others? By following her dream, right? It's by writing, you know, to the children, and people being able to embrace it for years, probably even our family, or the etiquette classes. So I'm not saying that kids missed out, but just imagine the number of people that could have been served by her following her dreams first. And I'm sure, like I said, she was an amazing woman, and I'm sure she wants me to continue to tell that story so that people like you that are across the globe, that you remember to take care of yourself first. And don't procrastinate about taking care of yourself first. And I invited you here, Alex, because I absolutely love your entire story. I love, we were talking about that you started training with me when you were about 14 years old. And from way back then, you talked about being a doctor, and right now you're in physical therapy school, getting ready to graduate.
Yep, graduating in May, and I'll have my doctorate in physical therapy, so you can call me Dr. Alex.
I cannot believe that. From 14 years old to Dr. Alex.
Yep, it's incredible. It's been a journey.
Do you mind me asking, are you 23?
23.
23 years old. Not from, that was fast.
It was fast.
Like, how in the world are you a doctor?
Almost. In May.
Well, you know, just a couple of months, you'll be a doctor. That was super fast. But I love, like I said, I love your entire story and the relationship that you have with God, that you've had from a very young age. And when things got tough, that you had the ability to align yourself back with Christ because of the foundation that you had with Him. I like your willingness to experience super fun stuff like hiking and camping and traveling the world, and how you surround yourself around good people so that you're constantly being edified. And lastly, we had a conversation about kind of the I Choose Me message and how important it was for you to make sure that you were mentally and emotionally strong. So what we're going to do is just ask a few questions. And then that's kind of how we go. And then as we ask the questions, you can answer them, and we won't be on here for very long.
Okay.
Sounds
good.
Okay. So you're a quote unquote physical therapist now.
Yeah.
What made you choose that field?
I think I get to help people all day long. I get paid to come alongside people and help them reach their goals and love on them, and just I get to come alongside people who are in a sticky situation, in a tough situation, something that they almost 99% of the time did not plan. This wasn't something that they chose. This wasn't something that they wanted for themselves. And so they're coming to me in this vulnerable situation, and I get to be there and provide hope and provide light and provide just steps forward in a situation that someone might not be able to figure out on their own. And so it's a really sweet career in the sense I get paid to help people.
Well, that's awesome. That's always awesome to get paid to help people.
Yeah, and just to encourage people. And it combines, my love for science and my love for people. And so I would drive home from work and be like, Lord, thank you that you've created this career, that combines my passions so perfectly and just perfect for me and what He's put in my heart.
I love that so much, because you very rarely find people who absolutely love what they do. It's a part of their purpose too, right? And then they get paid for it as well. That's always wonderful. And so I can only imagine. I was watching a video not too long ago of some physical therapists that were helping these people who, like you said, were put in situations that they didn't necessarily create.
Right.
But it's like, you feel hopeless. But to see these therapists give people hope who did not have hope is just absolutely heartwarming. And you get a chance to, as an athlete, be able to understand, because as an athlete, you had a few injuries too, right?
A whole lifelong of injuries. My whole athletic career was just
What kind of stuff happened to you?
I broke my ankle. I sprained my ankles, both ankles. Had all the shin splints. Tore my meniscus. Tore my labrum. Had surgeries. Had all the back sprains. Tore my hamstring, tore my quad, literally everything you could think of.
What? I didn't know. Wait, you didn't do that while you were with me? I don't remember anything broken when you were training with me.
You just gotta push through,
Wow. You had that many?
Yeah.
So you can really understand.
And sprained my big toe. Don't forget that.
How did you sprain your big toe? Jumping or landing?
Running sprints in the gym.
How did you break your toe, though?
No, sprained it.
Sprained it.
Yeah.
Same thing. Well, I'm sorry, the bone is not broken,
right.
so it's like, ow! It hurts, probably worse.
Yeah.
Right. Bad. And so, what were you doing? You were sprinting and...
Yeah, we were just running lines back and forth for conditioning, and it just...
And you're like, my toe!
Yeah, and it just was like, oh, I'm done. And then I was like, I can't run anymore.
Wow.
And it's a part of the athletic journey.
But what's beautiful, well, I don't know if it's beautiful or not, but what's beautiful is that you're completely whole now. And again, you get a chance to understand, be acquainted with the grief that people go through, just like Jesus was acquainted, right?
Absolutely.
And so, not that I encourage anybody to go out there and get hurt, because there's nothing fun about that. But when Tabitha was finishing her season too, because she couldn't play because of her shoulder or whatnot, and she said you just have to play through it as you have a goal, and you desire to be great in your field, whatever that is. You just keep pushing it through. And so I'm so thankful that you're here in Whole Child. You've had to make some major decisions in the past couple of years regarding your future, how has your faith shaped your decisions? And also, if you can share with us, what's your decision-making process when you're faced with challenges, or if you have to have life choices? Does that make sense? Okay.
I think throughout the years it's kind of changed and molded towards something a little bit more specific. But I think at the beginning, whenever I was younger and having to make big decisions of where do I want to go to college? Do I want to play volleyball in college? And those sorts of things. Those are the first major big decisions that I felt that I had to make. And during that time, it was mostly like reaching out to other people, reaching out to mentors, reaching out to family members and people in my church who I trusted, and just like communicating and just like externally processing what was happening. And so that was my initial mode of making decisions. It's like, okay, I'm going to go to people I trust, people who are smarter than me, wiser than me, and who have experienced just more life than me.
But what I heard you say first is like, there's something that I wanted to do. I had X, Y, and Z. And then, okay, so from there, let's talk to some mentors and people who are wise and, you know, that will help me in the decision-making process. Go ahead. I love that. But you got to know what you want, right?
Absolutely.
Or kind of know, especially at a young age.
Yeah. I think that's a huge part of it is knowing who you are in the exact moment and who you want to be by the end of it.
Oh, that's so good, Alex.
And just like seeing the big picture. So it's like, okay, if I'm going to go to college, I want to make sure that this college has the appropriate coursework so I can get the job after that I want to be in. Or I want to go to a college that has a good community so I can build my faith while I'm at this school and make sure I don't walk down a different path that I wasn't meant for, or all of those things, or in a city that I could want to end up living in. And so I think it's good for you to think about all of the future steps and like future implications, but not get too worried about what each step is going to look like exactly.
Because you don't know.
Right. And so that kind of goes into this next thing that helps me make decisions. And I've talked about this with a lot of my girlfriends whenever we talk about life and all of that sort of thing, is just thinking about what is my next faithful step. So it's, I don't have to know 10 years down the line what exactly my life is going to look like, what career, what things I'm going to have accomplished, what my family is going to look like, where I'm going to be living, what my church community, what all the things that I'm going to have achieved and accomplished. I just have to know, okay, where am I right now? What does the Lord bless me with right now? What is the things that He's put on my heart right now, and what is He calling me to, and what is the next faithful step in that calling? What is the next faithful step that I can do today, that I can do tomorrow, that is in proximity to me, and that whenever you think in proximity to where you're at, that takes all the stress and the worry out, because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
You don't know how. You never knew that you're going to break a bone. You never knew that you're going to be in, you know, different cities like Colorado, Texas State. You didn't know those answers. You just knew that here is where I am right now, and here's what I desire, but let's focus on the right now, what's in close proximity to me right now. I love that, Alex.
Yeah, I think because a long time, especially in high school and college, I wanted to plan out my whole entire life. I wanted to have everything down to a T, mostly because out of fear of that I wouldn't have the life that I wanted, or I wouldn't achieve the things that I wanted to achieve, because I do want to live a good life and love well and serve well and all of those things. And so I have these ambitions and these things that I want to go after, and so it's like, okay, I have all of these steps in order to do those things, but the truth is we don't know what our life is going to look like, and so releasing that to the Lord just takes off of this huge stress. And it's like, okay, Lord, like I'm gonna make my decisions for these 24 hours that I have, and like, thank you, Lord, for these 24 hours, so I'm gonna serve you and serve the people in front of me the best way that I know how in these 24, and then we'll tackle the next 24 tomorrow.
Right. Man, wow, when did you get so wise, my dear?
Surrounding myself with wise people.
Good job. I'm so very proud of you. Like, I'm so godly proud of you, and that is wonderful wisdom. Thank you so much. And I love live in proximity. I may have to write something about that. Compliments of Alex LaPlante. Live in proximity. Oh my gosh, I love this. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. Yeah, that is definitely live in proximity. Oh my gosh, that's so good. That's good stuff, girl. So what attracted you to the I Choose Me message?
I think, so whenever I first think about the I Choose Me message, I think of Jesus, and I think of how He would go away to a secret place and go away to get with the Father before He would continue with His calling, before He would continue teaching, before He would perform miracles and acts of healing and things like that, he would always like, hey disciples, like I'm gonna go, don't follow me. Like I'm gonna go on this mountain and pray to the Father. I'm gonna go be with the Father. And so for me, like that has been such an important thing, and like just seeing that, first of all, that perfect example in Jesus of, okay, he is the perfect human, the perfect divine God in flesh, like and yet he still had to get away, and he still had to go be with the Father. And so I was like, that is what I need to do in order to perform things that he wants me to do, in order to like walk in my anointing of loving on people and serving people and being the hands and feet of Jesus. And so seeing that, I'm like, okay, I need to take care of myself before I can take care of others.
Yes.
And that has been something that I've been learning throughout the years, because I have a natural just heart for others and wanting to help others and love on others, but constantly I would find myself drained and not being able to love others as much as I wanted to, because I didn't have any more energy left, and I didn't have anything left to pour, because I wasn't allowing either people or the Lord to pour into me, because I wasn't creating that space, creating that time to be filled up by God. And so that is, I just realized, like, it's not just going to happen. I'm not just going to get poured up just by waking up. Like, I need to create that space and create that time to go sit with the Father and just go sit and be with him. And that's how I'm going to be able to take care of myself and then be able to take care of others.
Wow, I love that. One of the things that Gary and I have said, and we are in total agreement, and I'm so glad that you're in tune with the whole message, because we laid it, this whole idea of the I Choose Me message, based on everything is the foundation of what would God say, what would Jesus say, right? And we said in the I Choose Me message that we know that it is a selfless message and not selfish in the with the negative connotation, because Jesus had to do it. You know, he, like we in agreement with you, and also said that in order for him to be able to perform the miracles and to serve the thousands of people the way he was able to serve them was by stepping away and taking care of himself spiritually, right, emotionally and mentally, before he can go out there and serve others. And we're not saying that he couldn't, but he did.
Right.
You know what I mean? He actually did those things. And so if he did it, then we should do it too. And therefore we can create a lifestyle of balance, because we're doing it the way Jesus would have us to do it. Isn't that good stuff?
Yes.
Oh, I love that. Well, I also love that you like life, that you love life. You, as long as I've known you, your family travels all over the world. You like sightseeing and hiking and just doing a whole bunch of super fun stuff. We're so boring, man. You know, like, I want to do some fun stuff too.
Just come with me.
Well, you need to invite me, baby girl, so that I can come do some fun stuff too. And so, what have you learned about yourself when you get involved with all of these different adventures? And also, if you don't mind, naming some of the places that you really enjoy, because, you know, like, you enjoy hiking or finding places where you can find peace, right? And then mention also, what do you like to do when you're looking for little pockets of peace? So you love sightseeing. What have you learned about yourself? What are some of the places that you've gone, or where are some of the places that you've gone? And then what you like to do when you're seeking peace? Sorry, those are three questions in one. But you're doing so good. I appreciate you.
Of course. So I think what I've learned about myself whenever I'm doing these things is, it's going to sound just cheesy, but that I am so loved. And to go off of that and to explain that a little bit is, whenever I am outside and I'm in God's creation, whenever, especially I've been in Colorado for the past 2 months, and just like being in the mountains, being in this divine creation, and you see the mark of the Creator, and you see just like, this is something that just the most divine being had to create, and this wasn't by chance. And you know that man, like the creator of the universe, like he also created me too, and like I'm seeing the most beautiful things that my eyes have ever seen before, and I'm like, but he loves me more than this creation that he made, and he loves his people more than the most beautiful things that my eyes have ever seen. And he sees, whenever I look out at those mountains, whenever I look at the canyons or wherever I'm at, he sees that same thing in me whenever he looks at me as his daughter. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. And so when I go out there and I'm in creation, and I see the beauty of it, it reminds me that he sees me that way too.
Wow.
And so that's important for me, because this world is a lot. There are a lot of things telling people that they're not loved and that they're alone and they have to reach all of these standards. And there's just a lot of things that make us think that we're not loved and that we have to be all of these things. But really, all we have to be is loved by him, and just take in all that he has for us, and all we have to do is just be his and love his people. And so whenever I get out in nature, whenever I'm outside, even today is such a beautiful day. I was on a walk and I was like, oh Lord, thank you.
Wow. So when I go out and walk from here on out, well, you know, like I love riding my bike. I love it. I'm like, I don't need anybody else with me. Yeah. I just love going out and riding my bike and breathing. And the idea that I can breathe in God's creation, which is air, is so amazing. Yeah. You know, just the whole idea of breathing is like
absolutely
taking in that breath, and it's the breath of life. Yeah. And so, wow, thank you. So what are some of the places that you have traveled to that maybe I can, you know, put it on my bucket list?
Most recently, I mentioned that I was in Colorado, so I was there for some clinical rotations. And so, not even joking, just about every single weekend, we were hiking, and so we would drive a couple hours, and we'd be in the mountains in a lot of different cities. And so we got to hike in Estes Park, in Aspen. I got to see the leaves change. That was like one of the most beautiful things I'd ever seen. It's just so different. And then the aspen leaves, like they just kind of like, they're like nature's sparkles, because they're more circular in shape, and then they're lighter. Like they're not as thick of a leaf, and so when the wind blows, they all kind of shimmer a little bit, and they shimmer and shake.
Shake and shimmer leaves.
Exactly. Okay. It's like a little dance party in the forest. And then a couple other places in Colorado, and then recently in Texas, I went to Amarillo and Palo Duro Canyon, and just seeing the colors of the rocks, it's just incredible. And then you see all of the different layers, and like over the years, how they literally have weathered the storm, and it's incredible. And like, I haven't been to the Grand Canyon yet.
You have? I cannot even believe that.
I
know.
I know.
I can't even believe that. Wow, but you're going when you're supposed to go.
Yes, exactly. And so I can't wait to do that. But I think Palo Duro is kind of like the Grand Canyon's little sister, or something like that.
Is that in the city of Palo?
Or it's in Amarillo, kind of like
Amarillo, Texas. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then in July, I was in Alaska, and those mountains are incredible. I was there on a mission trip, so I didn't get to do like much hiking and things like that, but just being there, we got to see a couple of like really beautiful spots, and it was just incredible seeing the ocean meet the mountains and everything.
That is so beautiful.
It was beautiful.
That is absolutely beautiful.
What was the last question?
Well, that was good. That was good. I appreciate it. And the part that I really like about the I Choose Me message is that you know, when you take care of yourself, that you can be, you can effectively serve others. Absolutely. And for the last week, you know, I did one of those step back kind of things where I'm going, okay, closet time. And closet time for me means I'm going to my quiet place, right? And in my quiet place is where I can hear. In my quiet place is where I can see. In my quiet place, I don't get distracted by all the things that are around me. And all the stuff that tries to vie for my time and my energy, you know, it helps me to get centered.
Absolutely.
And then when I do that, again, can serve others. And so I want to ask you, what's a message that you want to give to others about the importance of finding pockets of peace, especially when you're having to make major decisions? What are some? Well, you gave me that wonderful live in proximity, but as we, wind down, what are some of the things that you'd like to share with others about the importance of doing that?
I think finding your peace, finding a moment where you can breathe is one of the most important things that you can do for yourself. And I want to emphasize that in order to do that, number one, you have to be able to step back and look at who you are, look at your life, look at your schedule, look at what matters to you. And so you have to know all of those things, and you have to be willing to create that time for yourself and understand the importance that comes from it. And you might not at the beginning, but it might just be a little bit more discipline at the beginning, and like, okay, on these days I'm gonna have this set amount of time, or every morning I'm gonna wake up at this time to have this time to myself, or every Saturday I'm gonna go to the park, or just different things that you can do. But it might be discipline at first, and then as you continue in that discipline, I fully believe that discipline will turn into desire, and you will come back to that, and you will look forward to that time. And I think like finding that peace for yourself is so necessary in this busy world. This world is so full of distractions that even the people that you look up to the most, that they have it all together, that they are just the most wonderful people, we all need to take a step back from the distractions. We all need to take a step back, because we are constantly bombarded with a million different messages from a million different people. But it's about, okay, what is the one message that I want to focus on? For me, that is scripture. That is what the Lord is speaking to us every single day, and that's the truth. And so for me, I need to step back from what the world has to say and listen to what God has to say. And so for me, I am able to find my peace whenever I don't have to trust in myself or the world. I can trust in Jesus. I can trust that what he did on the cross is true and true and true and true and through and through, right? To this day and through the rest of eternity. I don't have to focus. I don't have to trust in my steps. I can trust in his steps, because he's already taken the steps to ensure our victory. And so I can have peace knowing that it's not, the whole weight of the world isn't on me. The whole weight of the world isn't on if I make the wrong decision or the wrong decision. I don't really think that there are wrong decisions, because there's learning moments in all of it.
Well, when you start having children, you'll realize, oh, that was a wrong decision. You may have learned or may not learn. But yeah, you're right that they are learning opportunities as well.
So take that time for yourself. Figure out in your schedule when you can do that.
Let me go back real quickly. Not having children is the wrong decisions, but some of the decisions our children make, and even as parents, may be wrong decisions. So let me make sure that I clarify that, because, baby, I love my babies. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Take that time for yourself. You will see, as you continue to practice that, how the fruit that comes from that, how you're able to love people better, how you're able to show up at your job as a better, you're able to do your job better. You're able to be a better spouse, be a better friend, be a better daughter, be a better brother, whatever it is. Whenever you take that time, it is the least selfish thing that you can do to take that time, because then you're able to show up for the people that you care about. You're also able to show up for the people that maybe you have harder relationships with, but you're able to be a better person in that situation, because you're able to listen and take it in instead of react. You can have a moment to think and like respond in a graceful way, rather than just reacting in the instant, because you're settled, your heart is at peace, you're comforted, you don't have to snap back or whatever it might be.
Wow. Well, Alex, I mean, this has been the most joyous 34 minutes that I've had in a while. I really appreciate you coming and speaking with me and speaking to the people. We want to encourage you to tag people, share, put it on your social media.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes it's like, how do you share? Look, let's just post it right now and then figure it out later. Maybe God will bless me with a social media specialist that will help me as we continue on this journey. And the message will go on YouTube. It'll go on the website, and my prayer is that it goes across the globe. It's so timely, it's so good, and it's so wonderful to see young people get it at a young age. And I pray that you will continue to have much success. You can't hope but have wonderful success, because you've chosen to take all burdens off of yourself, and then you cast them on the Lord, and you said that, listen, y'all, a whole bunch of people can say a whole bunch of stuff, but the most important thing is for me to follow Scripture.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that so much. So, guys, thank you again for joining us. And I want to encourage you to visit my website at LetitiaBrown.com and pick up the book, Get Up Your Big Fat. Do you have the book, Get Up Your Big Fat? This new one? Okay. So I want to encourage you to get the book, Get Up Your Big Fat Procrastinator. What do you think about the book? What do you think about the title?
I think you need to buy it. I think anybody and everybody will find what they need in that book.
And what's the name of the book again?
Get Up, You Big Fat Procrastinator.
Yeah, and so get the book, Get Up Your Big Fat Procrastinator. Get any of the products from the website. And then, of course, we have the merchandise. Thank you for supporting us. And hopefully y'all can see me, because this camera lighting has been a little special on Facebook. Again, we have the I Choose Me. Alex has a shirt. You can pick up the I Choose Me merchandise. And one of the reasons you want to wear it is because it's a friendly reminder of how important it is for you to choose yourself. And then people will point to you and say, I like I like what you're wearing. And you get a chance to talk to them about how important it is to choose you as well, choose yourself as well first. So God bless you all real good. Talk to you all later. Thank you so much. Make sure you share. Take care. Bye-bye now.
How do I do this?